Hi everyone. In today's video, I'm going to be showing how I create cells within a fluid art piece. This is a follow-up from my last video where I showed how to mix all these acrylic paint mixtures. This larger cup here with the aqua blue acrylic paint mixture is my base layer. I do not add silicone to the base, only to the other 5 acrylic paint mixtures. So there you can see it is the perfect pouring consistency. I go over that in another video as well. So let's get started and add some silicone to all but our base. I have my silicone oil here. It's covered in paint. The brand is Mont Marte, but I find any 100% silicone oil will do the trick. The key is to put in the right amount. I'm blocking that with my glove here, but I am putting 2 drops in each of these mixtures. I added the silicone oil to all 4 of those mixtures, but for my metallic gold, I'm going to add in some of this Gamvar gloss. It is a gloss varnish, but it is so oily, I find it works just like silicone oil. It creates slightly smaller cells, so to mix it up a little bit, we're going to add that and mix it into our gold color. So we'll mix that one well, but for the silicone oil drops, I'm just going to gently mix by kind of tapping down on top of them and making sure that they are throughout this acrylic paint mixture. It's tempting to mix vigorously, but you won't get beautiful cells that way. It's also tempting to add in a lot of silicone oil, but to get those beautiful cells, less is more. So just gently mixing in that oil, and we are ready to pour. So let's get started. I have my canvas here. It is 11 by 14 inches. It's propped up on 4 cups. I'm going to pour some of my base layer right into the center of the canvas. Next, I have a mixing cup I've cut the bottom off of. I'm going to place that down and push it into the base layer. And now we start the layering. So I'm taking my 5 acrylic paint mixtures with the silicone oil and the Gamvar gloss and slowly pouring them one on top of the other in this upside down cup. At first, you're not going to see any cells, but don't worry, they will come. The paint will slowly start to seep out of the edges, and you'll start to see some cells form. They'll look small at first, but again, don't worry, they will increase in size as they spread. Now, I mentioned earlier in this video that it is very important that you use the right amount of silicone oil and that you don't mix it in heavily. Another thing I found that makes a huge difference with the quality of cells is the consistency of all these paint mixtures. If the paint mixtures are too thick, the cells don't have a chance to break through. And if the paint mixtures are too thin, you won't have defined cells. It's too watery and turns into a muddy mess. So you want to make sure that all of these mixtures are the same consistency and the correct consistency. I go over this in my second video. So I'm going to use all of the paint mixtures that had the silicone mixed, but I did leave about half of the base layer left. Once I'm done pouring all of these colors, I will take the remainder of the base layer and spread it across the canvas. You can see on the empty part of the canvas, it does have a little bit of texture to it. If I were to glide this paint mixture across, the paint is going to catch, and as it spreads, it's not a nice smooth wave. It becomes jagged. And the cell shapes do not look nice. So I take the remainder of my base layer and I just roughly spread it across the canvas. I'm just using my gloved hand to make sure the majority of the canvas is covered and it's pretty equally spread. Now when I go to spread this paint, it will glide nicely over that base layer. So now we're done pouring. I'm just going to remove the cup and I'm left with this big blob in the center. So you need to activate those cells. You can take anything, your cup, spatula, anything with an edge, and just gently spread it across and you'll see those cells activate. Now I'm just tapping the canvas down gently helps remove any tiny air bubbles. It also helps to further activate those cells. I'm also going to take a kitchen torch and lightly torch the top of the painting, not too close. The heat also helps to further activate those cells and again, get rid of any of those tiny little air bubbles. After torching, I like to leave the painting just to sit for a couple of minutes and spread a little bit on its own. And then we are ready for the final step for this fluid pour, which is spreading it across the canvas. Now I love how beautiful and vibrant and perfectly shaped the cells look now, but I do have to spread it across the canvas. It's way too thick. It would dry cracked if you left it like that. So we need to spread it and make sure it's a nice even layer. You also don't want big empty spots on your canvas. So to spread it, I just gently rotate the canvas to cover corner by corner. You can see that the base layer there is really helping it glide nice and smoothly. And I go as slow as I can so I'm not warping the shape of the cells too much. They're not going to be as perfect as they were before spreading, but if you go nice and slowly and really keep an eye on how you're tilting, you can help maintain some of that cell shape. Once you have all four corners covered, you can still adjust the shape of the cells slightly by tilting it back in the other direction. So I can see the cells are all tilting to that last corner, so I'm just going to pull it back and try to get those beautiful shapes back. And once you are happy with how the placement looks on the canvas, you're just going to place it back down on those cups and let it dry. So I'm just about done, and there we have it. I'll show a closer look of the final result of this cell pour. Personally, I'm not in love with the center part that I swiped, but I am fairly new to this technique. I have a few ideas of things I want to try that I'll show in upcoming videos. So to finish it off, I'm just looking at the very edges of the canvas, making sure that there's no blank canvas left. So that should just about do it. And we are done our silicone cell pour. Here is the final result. You can see all of the cells and how beautiful all these colors look together. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.